Hey guys, this is Adam.
And this is Jake.
A discussion about the Juggernaut AI training app. So, previous ways of training, I think it's relevant to talk about like things that we've done before, Jake. And I would say the most consistent programmed training that I've done is either following in Olympic weightlifting a very popular and infamous training program is the LSU Shreveport program, which if you know anything about Olympic weightlifting, many people have broken their backs following that one. It would be the same thing for everyone. It's a percentage-based system. So based off your max, you put in your percentages and things like that. And then I have had a little bit of experience also with like a coach going one-on-one and getting some training in Olympic weightlifting that way too. So having that background, that's where I'm coming from when I talk about my experience with Juggernaut AI. Jake, what about you?
Yeah, for me, I typically wing it. So played sports pretty much all the way through college and had some sort of training that I followed. Since then, it's pretty much, so I have a decent background in like what to do to get stronger or get in better shape. But since then, I've pretty much just winged it. And it's been relatively similar to those football workouts I did through high school and college, or if I've done a few long races, like I've done a marathon, so I've done training for those types of things. But other than that, I enjoy just kind of doing my own thing. And I'm not currently training as a power lifter or any sort of specific strength sport. So just keep that in mind as we are going through the review. That's probably what most people do. They're not necessarily training for a specific sport. So is this something that your normal average Joe should do? We think yes, and we'll discuss this. I pretty much do what I want, but this Juggernaut AI has been a really nice change of pace.
Yeah, it's been fantastic, and you might have seen a lot of other content creators in the space playing around with it. Basement Brandon posts about it quite a bit. So we're going to give you our take on the app. And you can always check out our review that we're going to be posting to GarageGymExperiment.com. So we're going to start our conversation with the data collection, and Jake's going to take us through that.
Yeah, so to begin with, the app collects a ton of data before it starts your program. So number one, do you want to do either powerlifting or power building? If power building, what percentage do you want it to be powerlifting versus bodybuilding? So you have the ability to do something like, I'd rather do 70% bodybuilding and 30% powerlifting. And then you also, if you want to do strict powerlifting, you can do that as well. You also have the ability to choose a few body parts that you'd like to improve the most or focus on, and then a number of different questions. I would say it takes about 5 to 10 minutes to fill out from the beginning, but it's a really smooth interface and it's pretty easy to follow along. But it does ask questions like your nutrition, your diet goals, the amount of days you want to work out. So do you want to work out for 4 or 6 days, for example? Current maxes, which is kind of typical when you're filling out information for these programs. What's your typical recovery look like? Do you have a high stress life? And then a number of other things. So the app takes all of that information and has a really good understanding of who you are and what you want to do.
Yeah, and then it's going to build that program for you. Before you start each workout, you do this readiness check-in. So you're going to get yourself a readiness score. And what you're going to do is that the app's going to ask you each day before you get started, what's your weight like that day? How much sleep did you get the night before? What's your mood towards training? Are you like really motivated to train, or are you just like really kind of like slacking? What was your diet like? Your recovery. So how fatigued are you feeling? And then which body parts are really feeling it? Okay. And then finally, are you nursing any injuries that it needs to work around? So you put all that in, it gives you this readiness score, and it calculates all that before it gives you your warm-up and your workout for that day. The warm-ups are something I personally thought were really cool because I typically skip warm-ups. Jake's going to talk about warm-ups real quick.
Yeah, before we talk about warm-ups, I just wanted to add on to the readiness score. So if I was really sore, just to give a specific example, if my readiness score was really low, they would change the workout to match how you're feeling that day. So instead of maybe 4 heavy sets, an example might be 3 medium sets of something specific. So yeah, I just wanted to add a little bit of information why they have something like the readiness score.
Yeah, the stress and sleep one were funny because Jake and I were checking in after we were doing this, and we both had newborns at the time, and we weren't getting a lot of sleep, and there was a little bit of stress and stuff. So our readiness scores were really affected, like based on our newborn sleep schedule. So that was fun to look at and track.
Yeah, my readiness scores were never great, but I do think by changing the workouts, it helped me avoid overtraining. So that's something that the app can do. Okay, so warm-ups. Like Adam mentioned, this is actually a struggle of many home gym owners. So you typically go out and you're like, you want to just knock out the workout. I personally skip warm-ups all of the time, and it usually impacts my workout in a negative way. So I usually think if I have a good warm-up, I ultimately have a good workout. What this app does is it makes warming up really easy, gives you a few different movements to do before, and it's specific to the lifts that you're going to be doing later, or the specific body parts that you'll be exercising. It does a good job of matching up with that. So that's another benefit of this app.
Yeah, and then they'll give you a rep range and what the warm-up's called. And a lot of these warm-up exercises, I'm not going to lie, I was like, what is that? Like dead bugs? I'm sorry, I don't know what that is. And so you will click on like the little information button, and then up pops a window, and it's Chad Wesley Smith in his garage showing you what the warm-up looks like and how to take it through rep ranges and tempo and everything. So there's no confusion to it. You just go down the list, check them off, and I felt great before I even got started.
Yeah, that's a good call out.
All right, well, let's go through the workouts real quick. Super intelligent. First of all, the training app takes you through phases. So you're going to be going through strength phases, mixing in hypertrophy phases, deload weeks, and then your peak weeks. If you have a competition coming up, you can put in the date of that competition, and it's going to get you as strong as possible for the date of that competition. So it depends really which block you're in as to what kind of workouts you're getting. I personally really like hypertrophy training, so those are my favorite blocks. But the strength blocks, I felt like, am I really getting enough out of these workouts? Because, you hit your 3 or 4 sets and you're leaving some stuff in the tank, but it's really smart. It progressively overloads you, and it just gets you to build strength and to get stronger, which is something that I struggle with in my own planning of my workouts. So using this is something that, you could really tell, like, oh yeah, this is how you're supposed to train because this is the smart way. So each workout's going to take you about 45 minutes if you're pushing it and maybe kind of skipping through that warm-up. It could take you up to hour 20, hour and a half. They even give you some rest ranges in there, so how long you should be resting in between sets. But again, it depends on block and fatigue and things like that. But I would say anywhere from 45 minutes to hour and a half would be on the longer end. Wouldn't you say, Jake? Anyone take you longer than an hour and a half?
No, I don't think so.
And for our audience, being that we're in the home gym space, one of the coolest parts about this app is you can change the workout, the lifts. So if they're recommending that you use something with a machine and you don't have that machine, you simply click the swap lift button, and then you get a range of different exercises that are going to accomplish the same thing. And they'll, again, give you your rep ranges and things that you should be going for with that exercise. Okay? So I went through the different training phases and things like that, the time as well. So I think I covered it all. Jake, anything else about the workout specifically?
No, I'll just move on to using the app. It's really simple to use. As long as you have a basic understanding of how to use a phone, you can use it. Honestly, it's really that simple. Like Adam mentioned, changing out lifts is pretty simple. You pretty much just say, no, I don't want to do reverse hyper, and it gives you a number of different options to do instead of that. And then it's just really easy to click. As you're going down the workout, you just either enter in the weight or select that it's done, and you move on. It guides you through the workout really easily. Yeah,
and as far as putting in your weights and getting it checked off, they will start to understand you as a lifter and start to suggest weight. So if you're supposed to be working at an RPE 8 and they know your max from last week is X, they will start to suggest what your RPE 8 is. But if you're progressing faster, you put in your weight that you went heavier and you felt like an RPE 7, it's going to suggest that you go heavier next time to really meet the a rate of perceived exertion that you should be hitting. And if you don't understand RPE or RIR, the app explains everything. It'll have like a little informational button next to exercises. Like if you don't know what your tempo close grip bench is supposed to look like, hit the information button. It'll give you a description of it and a video of someone completing the exercises as well. So yeah, that AI part of Juggernaut AI really starts to get to know you as a lifter, and it'll start making suggestions for you.
Yeah, it's just really important that you are honest with how much you're actually lifting,
Right.
or else it throws off the entire thing. But it is one of those things where you don't necessarily have to show anybody else. So just be honest, and you will definitely improve as you go along. So who is this for? Adam and I mentioned we're not necessarily your dedicated power lifter, which may be the first people that come to mind when you think of Juggernaut AI. The first thing everyone wants to ask is how much is it? So it's $35 a month, which to me is a very fair price for what you're getting. It's way less cheaper than a personal trainer. I mean, I would say it's about the same price as like going to an LA Fitness or something like that per month. So I think it's something really affordable, and it will likely improve your lifts quite a bit. If anything, you can try the free trial. But yeah, who's it for? It's for anyone that I think struggles being consistent with their workouts. This will help you keep on track. Really, anyone who wants to improve their strength, this is something that you should consider. It definitely would benefit some sort of competitor, specifically if you're taking it very seriously, but you don't quite want to pay for a coach, which can be many multiples of this price. That's definitely somebody who should consider it. I kind of mentioned this earlier, but if you're stalled and you just want to try something new, this would be a nice change of pace, I should say, for anybody who may be in a rut.
It worked wonderfully, like as a change of pace for me, because I was kind of putzing around the gym, doing things that I like to do, but I could definitely say I wasn't getting stronger at the time I started it, because I really wasn't tracking like a progressive overload and taking myself through like phase training. So to jump into that, it was a really nice reset for me. Is that how you felt, Jake?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, who's it not for? Right now they offer, it's pretty cool, like you do this percentage between like how much powerlifting and how much power building you want. Power building would be strength and size. And so I think I did like a 90-10 power building to powerlifting. I wanted more, physique, less like of the powerlifting movements. But really you're kind of stuck between those two things. And so who's it not for? If you're a competitive weightlifter, it's not for you. If you're doing CrossFit and you're doing CrossFit like training, it's not for you. Like if you're doing CrossFit and you want to work on your strength, you can definitely like accessorize with this. But if you're competing, it's not going to be for you. If you're an endurance runner, it'd be really hard to go through these strength workouts and then recover from like a lot of cardio and still progress as normal. So it's really for if you're looking to gain strength, which is a huge majority of people. But if you have specific training goals that you're going for, this may not be your thing. Okay. It's also not for people who like to bounce around. And, it's if you go down, or I say go down because I'm in my basement gym, but if you go out to the garage and it's totally mental and you just want to flow and you want to just do things that you like to do for a period of time and then get out, you may not like training like this. Okay. So if that's you, maybe steer clear, or, give it a try, or talk to a friend who has tried it and see if it's something that would work for you. But
cool. And I just have a few other notes. As I was stumbling, I forgot a group of people that may benefit from the app. So I also think about somebody who, while I grew up like playing sports and had a strong background in lifting, I think something that this app does really well is it really helps guide people through their workouts. And there's so many different videos and instructions that someone who really doesn't know what they're doing can benefit from having this app, whether they're at a home gym or if they go to a gym. So any inexperienced person who, again, we kind of, how we mentioned, may not want to pay for a personal trainer or a coach, this can benefit them as well. And then I also just wanted to mention the equipment necessary, because I don't think we brought that up earlier. You don't necessarily have to have a ton of fancy equipment. All of the programs are possible with a rack, bench, barbell, and plates. Everything else is extra. And like we mentioned, while something may be programmed, it's easy to switch that out. And there will always be some sort of option to use just the equipment I just mentioned. And then finally, I think one thing that I've had a Whoop for a little bit of time now. I'm thinking about something that would take this to the next level, is if rather than filling out your readiness score each day, if it just like took your Whoop data with like how you're feeling or some sort of fitness tracker, I think that would help take it to the next level. And then also, like, something that CrossFit gyms do really well is have a leaderboard. So like some sort of leaderboard so that you can see how your peers are using this app, or what's their strain level, or what are their lifts. I don't know exactly how that works, but some sort of connectivity piece could absolutely take this to the next level.
As you use this app, you will also notice that like you're going to start getting emails with tons and tons of really good education and information too. And so just being a part of this community of Juggernaut AI, they feed their community with really great stuff as far as training and recovery and everything else. So.
Right. And Adam and I were just discussing earlier how they're sponsors of the Garage Gym competition. They're really putting a lot of their efforts into helping improve the home gym scene. So we appreciate that too. We should just say, like, if you want to use the promo code experiment10, it does save you some money.
We all like saving money. Well, cool. That's our audio breakdown of the Juggernaut AI training app. That's going to do it for this conversation. Jake, you want to share anything else?
Nope.
All right. That's it, guys. Bye.